Hola. That just came to me.
Hi, this is Jen Grant, and you're
Hi,
listening.
this is Graham Kay.
Hi.
And you were listening
This is Adam Fox, and you're listening
This
to
is
the...
Dylan Mandelson, and you're listening to the...
This is Brian Hatt, and you are listening to the Julian.
Hi, this is the word man of Alcatraz.
Señores, signori.
Hey, everybody, this is Little Darren Frost.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Mi nombre es Fabio Mantoan y están escuchando a Julian Dion.
This is Dave Sidhu, and you're listening to the Julian Dion Comedy
Podcast hour. Showcase.
You are listening to the Julian Dion Comedy Hour podcast.
Hola.
Such a beautiful waste of time. A waste of time. A beautiful waste of time. A waste of time.
Such a beautiful waste of time. What is up? Welcome to the Julian Dion Comedy Hour podcast, episode 16 specifically. Oh, shit, yeah. Coming at you, of course, from Lemon Press Studios in the Distillery District, downtown Toronto. Hey. Oh, how are you today? How you doing? Are you good? Yeah, good. I'm glad you're good. I'm really good. This is the thing that was annoying. For the first time in close to a year, I had caffeine before coming here. Not even a full dose. I had a half decaf coffee, and I'm buzzing. I can feel my hair growing. I'm freaking out. I think I'm gonna be hooked again. This is my personality. No, I can fight this. I don't have to be hooked again. I don't need this. Take it easy. Yeah, I had a half-calf coffee, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like anxious. I'm full of anxiety. I'm like jittery. Are you alright? I don't know if I'm alright. I hope you're good. Thanks for listening. Always, I appreciate it. Thanks for the feedback. Getting lots of emails. Email the show, pod at jdcomedyhour.com. Yeah. Caffeine. Hashtag. If you're in Toronto, come to Absolute Comedy tonight, November 11th. That's Tuesday, November 11th, which is Remembrance Day here in Canada. Memorial Day, lest we forget, where we remember our veterans, past and present, that have served our country. We salute you. We salute you. I don't feel like I have the authority to say we salute you. I guess I do. Yeah, we salute you. It's a day of reflection here in Canada, and where if you work for the government, you're off. That's how we celebrate. Sleep in. I do have some military presence in my family. Can you say that? Military I guess. Anyway, my father, my dad, served in the Air Force for 8 years back in the late 60s, early 70s. In fact, all my uncles, there were 7 brothers, 7 Dion corporals, all Air Force. And they served their country. And my grandmother's brother served in World War II. He was assassinated by a sniper. That's good. Happy comedy podcasting, everybody. But all that to say, just an aside, full respect to the soldiers who even today are serving the country, putting it all on the line for our freedom. I don't think I could do it. Could you? I think most of us couldn't. I think it requires a really special person to take that duty on. All right. It's hard to kind of segue from such selfless acts to my petty life. But here we go. I drove here, and something happens to me when I drive where, because I'm a pretty even keel, sort of laid back, relaxed kind of guy, but something happens where as soon as I get behind the wheel of my car, the car transforms into a fuselage of rage. I just irrationally angry right away, immediately. Nothing even happens. And I was driving here, and I was following a person, a car driver, and we get to an intersection, and they stop, and then put their blinker on, and wait to turn left. And I just went off the deep end. I just lost it. I actually uttered the words out loud to myself in the car. Dumb fuck. Last minute blinker bullshit. Out loud, just to myself. Dumb fuck. Last minute blinker bullshit. What? How is that good for anybody? And it really puts it in perspective when you see, like, because I'm the only one affected by this rage. The other person couldn't care. I didn't even honk. There was no honking. There was no nothing. It was so passive aggressive. I to myself out loud uttered those words, because how dare he forget to put his blinker until the last second, or she, creating me to then take 7 seconds, if that, to go around them. It literally took at the most 7 seconds. It actually took me longer to utter the words dumb fuck, last minute blinker bullshit than it did to go around the guy. You dumb fuck. They're just going about their day, doing their thing. Oh, forgot my blinker. All of a sudden, this guy behind is just fuming. Dumb fuck to a fellow human. A person with a family and friends. Someone who's contributing to society, arguably more than I am. At that moment, dumb fuck. And it really, I was gonna say, it's really like it puts it in perspective how no one else is affected by road rage for the most part than you are, or at least at that extent. Then it's really apparent when you see someone else freaking out in their little bubble. It's like, oh my God, yeah, no, what are you doing in your own world? Anyway, that person at that moment, enemy, sworn enemy. How dare you make me fucking go around, you son of a bitch. And I went around and then I was fine. Instant cool until something else happens just down the road. And I'm such a hypocrite when it comes to road rage and pedestrians. I am a full-blown hypocrite, because if I'm at a red light and I'm turning right and there's some pedestrians crossing, so I can't quite turn right away, I freak out. I'm like, yeah, could you go any slower? Take your time, asshole. I will run the shit over you. I'll run you over right now with my car. I will end your life. I'll wipe you from this planet. Go to prison. I don't give a fuck. Prison's worth it. I'd rather go to prison for 25 years than wait 11 seconds for you to walk across the fucking street. I get so angry when I'm in my car, yet when I'm a pedestrian crossing the street and someone's like inching forward to turn right, I'm like, try me. I'm walking. I'm the pedestrian. I have the right of way. I'm going to actually go slower now. Don't you even try to turn. I will punch the shit out of the hood of your car. I always imagine that. I always fantasize for like 10 seconds of like someone inching a little too close and I just punch the shit out of the hood of their car, which would probably, in result, break my hand and they come out, then there's an argument and I have to run. Which I would, but anyway, just such a hypocrite. I'm just feeling way more emotions. I think it's from the Meisner class that I talked about 2 episodes ago. I'm expressing more. It's sort of peeled off all of the filters that I had, and now I'm experiencing life a little raw, and And it's like I get extra angry. I fight the urge to cry now on a daily basis. On the daily. I was going to say on the daily, but a daily came out and then it didn't sound right. I fight the urge to cry on the daily. Like, and not for real reasons to cry. Not anything. Like I watch TV and I'll be watching Master Chef, and an underdog will cook a really nice dish, and all three judges are like floored, and then the music kicks in, and they talk to them like they just saved the world. You know, you really stepped up today. We hadn't seen much of you, and I was expecting. I've been waiting because I know your potential. I've been waiting for this moment, and finally it happened. And you've arrived. I would now place you in the top contenders. You're one to watch. You're one to beat. Everybody else, have a look at this dish. This is how it's done. This is the dish to beat. Congratulations. You should be really proud of yourself. And every fiber in my being is fighting the urge to bawl. I don't know what's happening to me. Or here's a thing I've been watching on YouTube, and I don't even fight the urge to bawl. I just cry my eyes out. I've been watching a lot of videos of soldiers returning from service. And this is topical. It's Remembrance Day. If you want to cry your face off, go to YouTube and just type in soldier returning home. And returning home to their family or their dogs. I bawl my eyes out. There's a dog. The dog's just playing in the yard, and they throw the ball, and the soldier comes out. And when the dog brings the ball back, it's the soldier there, and the dog freaks out. I'm like borderline puking. I'm crying so much. Can you relate to that? Do you relate? Email me pod@jdcomedyhour.com. All right, let's get to my guest today. She's one of my favorite people, let alone comedians. She's great, very, very talented. We were roommates in New York City for just over 2 years, and we had a great chat. She's a lot of fun, and so enjoy my chat with Kristeen von Hagen.
You and me belong, just like the flowers, laughing all day long. People, I need you loose. Sing a little song, then take a shower. Julian Dion, Comedy Hour.
I gotta tell you this, don't judge me when I tell you this, just hear me out. I recently went to my eye exam drunk. Don't worry about it, it could happen to you tomorrow. It's not as hard as it sounds, because eye exams don't happen very often, right? So the eye exam was booked way in the future and forgotten about. Then I went to a birthday brunch and I got all liquored up. Then I remembered I had the eye exam, and I'm like, well, if I cancel now, I'm gonna have to pay. So I'm like, screw it, I'm going, you know. But I'm hammered, so I'm like, screw it, I'm going, eye exam! Don't go to your eye exam drunk. There's no winners at the drunk eye exam. Because eye exams are confusing enough at the best of times. Like the whole thing with the lenses, like the 1 or 2. 1 or 2, 2 or 3. 3 or 4, 4 or 5, 5 or 1. 1 or 5, 6 or 7, 2 or 9, 8 or 4, 2 or 3, 3 or 8. I'm like, screw it, 2. Just put me down for 2, man, 2. 2's my answer. So I actually left this eye exam with a prescription for glasses. And now I don't know if I actually need glasses or if I have a prescription to drive drunk. My friends will be like, Kristeen, you've had 6 vodka sodas. I'm like, it's okay, I have my glasses. Everything is 2, man. Don't worry about it. Okay.
Okay, and that was my guest who sits in front of me today.
I'm startled. I'm so scared right now.
We sit in her empty apartment, both in our pajamas. This is a slumber potty, Poddy.
Oh, slumber potty.
We're doing it up. New school. What? All right. That was my guest that you heard just now. She's one of the best in the business as well. She's one of my favorite people in this world, period. But in the comedy business, she's done well for herself. She has taped 3 galas at the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival. She's won, I should have done it this way, the countdown. She's won 4 Canadian Comedy Awards. That's 4-time Comedy Award winner. 3 galas at the prestigious Just for Laughs Comedy Festival in Montreal. She's recorded 2 Comedy Now specials on the Comedy Network, and she's been to 1 Winnipeg Comedy Festival.
You can't do it all. You can't.
And she's also been on CBC Debaters several times, and she's been hailed, this is a good one, she's been hailed one of Canada's top 30 power women by Elle magazine. That's right. She sits in front of me, Kristeen von Hagen.
Hey.
Hi.
What do you think of my empty apartment?
I like it. So many memories.
All gone.
I feel we're like at the end of a sitcom, where like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, when they're like moving out.
But I wish I was like going off to college or something good. It's just...
Well, you're going to Vegas, which is kind of like college, but for life.
For life.
A life college.
I know, I'm going to life college.
First of all, thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad we made it happen.
Second of all, how you doing?
Good. I've been in the middle of a move, so I'm super crabby.
Moving from Toronto to Vague Diggity.
But the problem is I don't need anything in this apartment because I have all I need in Vegas.
You've been living there for a while. You're just sort of...
vacating.
Yeah, vacating the premises.
Yeah.
You were subletting for the summer.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back a little bit. Let's sort of go through the timeline, the Kristeen von Hagen timeline.
I didn't know there'd be a quiz.
There is a quiz, but you should know the answers because most of the answers involve you.
Oh, shit.
So you started comedy in the late 90s.
Yes.
97, I'm going to guess.
97 or 98.
97, 98.
Yeah.
In Vancouver.
Yep. At a club called Punchlines, which no longer exists, but was awesome.
And you're originally from Victoria.
Victoria, the island kissed by the sun.
The sun kissed. That reminds me of the self-tan sun kissed loose. So you're from Victoria. You do comedy in Vancouver for the first time, and you had a really you were off to the races. Is that an expression?
Off to the race. Not really. I mean, I did it in Vancouver for like a year, then came out to Toronto for the summer, and then just stayed.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It was a different time.
Because you've done a lot of amazing things really early on in your career. That's kind of unheard of, especially nowadays. I mean, to record, because you recorded your first gala 5 years in, something like that, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Which is crazy.
Maybe
and
even slightly less. I think it was 2001.
Right
before terrorism.
Right.
Yeah, so 2001.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's a good one, and it still plays all the time.
I know, it's haunting.
The wrestling bit and...
classic Von Hagen.
Okay, so and in your first year, how much comedy did you actually do in Vancouver?
You know what? In my first year, I was scared, and then everyone would be like, you got to get up as much as you can, and then I'd always be like, no.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did a fair amount. I wasn't one of those people who's like, I want to get on every stage and like, look, there's 3 homeless people. I'm going to do my weird jokes for them. I was like all shy.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I did it. I liked it. Came to Toronto.
And actually your dad, whom I hung up with.
I know, you're always hanging out with my parents, which is creepy.
Anytime I'm in Victoria, I'm sure to hit up the Von Hagens. And your dad was saying that, I don't know if this was your first set or one of the first you did at the Tally Ho in Victoria.
Yes.
And you did like 2 minutes or something like that.
Yes, of course.
And you were young. You were like 18 or something like that.
Yeah, I was 18, and I wasn't even allowed to be in the Tally Ho, but because I was performing, it was okay. And then I was like, I have 10, 12 minutes. And then literally did 2 minutes and freaked out.
The Tally Ho, I had Sean Prowlove on, and he talked about it a little bit. That was kind of a nightmare gig, was it not? It was like a gazebo within a gazebo, and it was like...
It was like a biker bar, and the slogan outside was fun at the Ho. And it was like in a shady part of Victoria. Is there a thing? Yes, there is a thing like that. And it was just super haunting. But I was just I was a big comedy fan. I would listen, I watched SNL, and I was obsessed with David Letterman, hardcore. Watched every night, would actually write letters into viewer mail
Nice.
And then I'd make my friends come over. These are like high school girls, and I'd force them. I'd be like, "This is the week I'm getting on Viewer Mail," and I never got on Viewer Mail.
Never got on.
Never got on.
That's too bad. Yeah, I remember you had you probably still have it, a Letterman fridge magnet.
Yes, yes.
Fridge in New York. And the Tally Ho set, how early on was that? Was that like one of your firsts?
That was my first for sure.
Your first ever.
Yeah.
How did you get up at that place as your first?
I don't know. It was the only place in Victoria, and I phoned as a lark because there was also like radio shows you could listen to. I forget what they were called, like the Sunday Funnies or something, and it would like barely come in from this radio station in Seattle, and I would listen, and it would just play clips. And that's also like back in the day of like Evening at the Improv. Like we're talking like 90. Well, I must have been out of high school. So, yeah, it must have been like 97. Yeah, yikes.
That's crazy.
When Aerosmith was popular. That's when I started doing comedy.
Okay, and then you make the move to Toronto. What sort of makes that, like, what makes you do that? You just...
Well, I started doing comedy, like mostly in Vancouver. And then, all the Vancouver comics at the time would go off to, and I was not really yucks then. I was independent. So they all would go and do the, what was it called? The Laugh Resort. Oh my God, my mind. I know this is a quiz and I should know all the answers. So anyway, there was another comic named Ophira Eisenberg, and we were like best comedy buddies. And we decided to go out for the summer, and then it was just like, compared to Vancouver, because the Punchlines was closing or had closed. So we went out to Vancouver, but Toronto. But it was like, magical. Like there were all these open mics. Like this is when like Spirits was starting. Like I was one of the original, like just would do Spirits every week. Like that's when I was really like, oh my God, comedy.
Right.
Like every week I was at Spirits. There was another show on Sundays called The Pilot. And it's also like when you're young, you care about comedy. Like you have like new friendships and like cute boys, and like it's all, exciting.
And you kind of have to in the beginning.
Oh, you have to be obsessed, and you have to be willing to go out and sit through garbage shows and, Spirits like now, I know I'm talking about this weird open mic in Toronto, but like it's, packed every week and, it's really magical. But like then it was just like management wasn't really sold, and there was like a transvestite named Kathy who would come, and it was like 25-cent wing day, and she'd eat wings and throw bones at the comics if they were too dirty. And it was just like a freak show, but that was like every, there was sort of a core group of people who went every week, and we took it very seriously. And then I got into doing Yuck Yucks, and they used to do this thing, like Monday was amateur night, and they used to do this thing called Sink or Swim, where they'd play a video after your set. And then there were like good videos and bombing videos.
We talked about that in Ron Vaudry's episode.
Oh, really?
It was called Crash and Burn when he did it.
He started it, and when I was there, it was Jack Norman.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was a whole thing on the podcast we went through.
Oh, and the shovel to the head, that was if you got the shovel to the head, you just felt like a piece of shit. And then...
What do you mean? They played a video of the shovel?
Yeah, like a guy kneeling, and then someone else hits him in the head with a shovel. And then this was, obviously I was way more tender than now. I'm like, oh, who cares? But it was like, I remember one time, because then if you did well, they'd ask like the best 3 people to come back on the Tuesday night. And I remember getting the shovel to the head, and I was so mad. And then I had to go outside and cool my heels. And then I came back in, they're like, hey, do you want to come back Tuesday? And I was all like, no. Even that, which makes no sense, because that's what you're aiming to do.
Right.
But I was so mad I got the video. They're like, oh, we just hadn't played that video yet. Like...
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
right.
But I like took it super personally and was like so mad. But yeah, it would like be like an atomic bomb or the shovel to the head or some woman getting
and you just
punched
randomly got it
something.
because they hadn't played it.
Well,
that
yeah. Because I thought, I had a good set. Then I got the shovel to the head, which is like, amateur night slap in the face. And then I like had to go outside and was like, oh, comedy. And then it was like, oh no, do you want to come back Tuesday? I was like, no.
And what was your first big sort of opportunity? Was it the Just for Laughs gala?
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
And how does that come about so early on in your career?
I think it wasn't that foreign. Like, I did a bunch that year. I did, like, the New Faces, and I did a gala, and I did, like, they used to have, like, a kick-ass all-women show called Eve's Tavern, hosted that year by Joy Behar. And, I got the trifecta. It was pretty sweet.
That's great.
It just came about.
And you did it, and did you get any opportunity from that?
What did I get from that? No, I mean, it's always like building. Like, I mean, it was definitely
Right.
a positive thing.
What's the name of the documentary that you're part of that was sort of...
The next big thing.
The next big thing.
And that was right around that time. So that was already filming.
Right. Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Got
so
it.
they came to Just for Laughs, but they'd already been filming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you had a lot of things, at least it's portrayed, like a lot of things happening. You were considered for a Fox sitcom, was that it? Or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that?
That was like an Andy Richter sitcom.
I mean, that must have been just amazing. I mean,
Sort of. I think now you can look back and be like, oh, that was whatever it was. But not really. Like, it's just a journey. Like,
Right.
anyone who does well will have their, like, weird ups and downs.
for
And,
sure.
Yeah, it's super.
But when you have so many ups so early on, does it? To me, it seems like it would make it harder to sort of keep that expectation up there, or do you find like it almost makes it seem like not easy, but you're like, like I got this. This is gonna be amazing the whole time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, sort of. I don't know. Like, comedy's always changing because then, like after that, I went on tour with Puppetry of the Penis.
Right.
So I was sort of out of the mix in general, but I was playing like theaters every night.
Right.
And that was like a whole crazy thing unto itself. And then I got into writing, which was probably a mistake. And
You've had a lot of success in writing.
Lots
which we'll
of,
get
yeah.
into,
So I wrote on like This Hour and all these other things. And then once you're kind of doing that, you're not really in the mix the same way.
Right.
So you kind of just, I don't know. I think it's best to be well-rounded and try everything.
Right.
And then you really know what you like and don't like.
Is that how you got into writing? The 22 minutes, was that your first sort of thing?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that was my first one.
And how do you get into that for anyone listening that might be interested?
They just asked for me. So yeah.
Oh, no way. So you didn't have to actually like put a package together?
I've never put a package together.
That's amazing.
I have had a lot of sweet writing gigs, and I'm like, if they're like, oh, we need a package, I'm like, oh, no.
Next one then.
You just pay me and I'll come.
Because you've written the Walk of Fame. You've
I've
done
written,
like
yeah,
Junos.
like about 4 or 5 Walk of Fames, 4 Junos, the Geminis, which is now the Screen Awards. I've written on both of those. And then I wrote on this weird CBC show called Test the Nation for a bunch of their things.
Yeah.
And so.
And you went to LA also pretty early on ish.
Yeah, well, I ended up. Well, what had happened was I wanted to go to LA. Then I started working at This Hour. Then I put in to get a green card, but they were like, oh, your green card's not going to be ready for like a year and a half. We're not even going to call you. And I was like, perfect. And then they called like 2 months later and were like, your green card's gone through. But what the green card is, you have to actually move.
Right. You have to be there 6 months out of the year.
Yeah.
At least.
And you have to like move to activate it.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Got it.
So then that was sort of threw a whole wrench into the works. Because,
And what year are you in this when this is happening?
I mean, that's like probably 8 years ago. Yeah. I don't know the math,
So like 8-ish years in, probably?
8-ish. Yeah.
7 or 8 years in.
Yeah. So that was sort of... It was weird because I wasn't really ready. Like, I wanted to go, but it was suddenly like, oh, you have to go like within the next like 2 months.
Right.
You have to move everything. Where I wasn't prepped to do that. But I mean, it just all happened. And then I moved down with Nikki Payne, and we lived in this weird...
Oh, no way. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
You and Nikki?
Yep. And we subletted this apartment from a guy my now husband knows. And then what had happened was we didn't know any of this. So we go to this apartment and to sublet. And it looks like somebody had been there that morning. Like, so we go in, there's like a coffee cup and like glasses on a table. And we're like, well, this is obviously the place. And then what had happened was the guy was like an actor and like lost it and decided to become a priest and just like took off to become a priest.
No shit.
But then, so this other guy was subletting from that guy.
Right.
But then the priest didn't know we were subletting from the middle guy.
Right.
And then like all these people were phoning like, hey, Joe, where are you? Kind of thing. And we're just like, ooh. And then that was all insane. And so that didn't last forever. And then I moved in with Christina Walkinshaw.
Right.
At a house on Detroit Street, 202 South Detroit. Don't go there. We're not there now. And that was fun. And we lived in a house of like 8 girls, people living literally like in cupboards. Like my room was the dining room.
Was it all comics?
All comics or like actresses. It was
Right.
a lot of like hot babes too. Like I remember one day everyone was like in their like short shorts, like sucking on not lollipops, but
Popsicles?
popsicles. And I was like, we could like get a webcam and make some serious money on this. Like, it's all these like LA babes sucking on like popsicles in short shorts. I'm like, this is perverted, and I'm an adult straight woman. And so, yeah, like my bedroom was the dining room. And one of the old roommates who had moved out, she had won a dining room set on The Price is Right.
Oh, right, yeah.
So
yeah.
like my like cupboard was like a hutch. Like it was all crazy. Anyway, that was a fun apartment. And then I moved to Valley Village and lived back with Angelo Sarukis and Anna Silk, who's now Lost Girl.
Okay.
And
yeah.
Nikki also lived at that apartment for a while. I don't know how that all happened anyway. And so we all lived in that crazy apartment in the valley.
Describe a little bit what LA was like back then. Like, and personally, did you ever feel like, holy shit, this is happening? Like, I'm in LA, I'm a comic, or you're just sort of doing it?
I've never felt like that.
You're just doing it and whatever. It
Yeah,
is what it
I
is.
don't really, I don't, because it's like, until something, I've definitely always been like, until something is actually happening.
Right.
Like, I hear all these people like, oh, I'm going to LA and this and that. It's like, no, you're not.
Right.
I don't know how to tell you that, but I mean,
Right.
something could happen.
Yeah.
But until you're like walking on the stage at Letterman or walking on the stage,
Right.
like you're not doing jack shit.
And what was your plan when you were going down there? Was it just, I have to go to activate the green card? I don't really have a plan, or did you have contacts?
No, I had zero plan and zero management, and then just kind of did spots and hung out. I'm very into hanging out.
Yeah.
Which has probably ruined my career. But I don't know. I wasn't really that, like epic things happen and then nothing happens. Like
Right.
it's so weird. And
The
like,
ebbs and flows of the business,
yeah,
of course.
So I don't really get too caught up in like, oh, this is it. Like there's never been a moment where I'm like, this is happening.
Right.
I mean, there's definitely been points where I'm like, this is awesome.
Right.
Or like, this is what I want to be doing. And then to points where I was like, wow, I have no gigs.
Yeah.
This is
I mean, that happens.
depressing.
Yeah.
And the problem is because I started dating my husband right before I got my green card. So I didn't have to do anything, but I came back to Toronto all the time. So I'd kind of be in LA,
Right.
hang out, do like some spots.
And where was Luch at that time?
He was in Toronto. And then I'd come back up to Toronto and then kind of have my full Toronto life and like do writing gigs and just, do yuck yucks and be up here with him. Then I'd go back down. So I never really fully committed to LA the way
Got it, right.
I should have. Just because, I was always like 1 foot in Canada, 1 foot there.
Right.
And then sometimes if you don't really know, I can come up, not now, but, I could come up here and get spots easily and have paid work. And I
Right.
had been doing paid work for a long time. So then it was like, drive to this weird place, like in San Bernardino and do like a free spot for 5 minutes. And I'm like, I've been paid for like 8 years.
Yeah.
So that didn't really appeal to me the way it should have, like when I started, where I was like, yeah, I'll do I just get on stage. And for the love of it, I'm like, no, I'd rather go to City Walk
Right.
or like go to the Grove and hang out than go because I've done that all.
Right.
But like you kind of needed to participate more. But then I was like, forget it. I'm in LA. Who cares?
Did you have a car? You must have.
I would rent cars for months at a time.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it was pretty hilarious. So, because I was, again, always going back and forth, and it was still cheaper to rent a car than to have it and then not be there for 3 months.
Right. And you had a condo at one point. Was that after Toronto or LA rather?
That was during LA. I bought it right before, literally, I had no plans to move.
Right.
In any sort of urgency. Bought a condo right around doing, actually, it was just before I went to This Hour is 22 Minutes. So I was pretty committed. Then the green card just came through. So then I had to Luch lived in the condo and then we subletted it for a while and then I had to sell it. And so it was like a whole kerfuffle. What a mess.
And how long were you in LA?
I don't know, a few years, but again, half time.
Right.
I'd say 5 years, but half the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you moved back to Toronto, or did you go from LA to New York?
Then I moved to New York.
From LA?
Basically,
well,
yeah.
since you were kind of at both places, I guess.
Yeah. So I basically, moved to New York. But then again, spent like half my time. I mean, then you got into the mix.
Right. Yeah. Let's
then-
let's talk about that a little bit. So you were in New
Yes.
York for probably a year when I moved there, I guess.
Maybe something
a little
like that.
less?
A little less, I think, because that was like a New Year's Eve
Right.
romance that started, was it not?
Right. Yeah. And what month do you remember when you moved to? It was 2008 at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe like the fall or something. 'Cause
Yeah.
I moved in July of 2009.
Yeah. So it was not even a year. Nice try. So I moved in with Jen and Stacia. Stacy. And so we had a sweet ass pad in Queens that Jen and Stacia got.
Right.
And
Let's describe the pad a little bit. It was a sweet pad. It was
until it tried to kill us. It was the best. It was, first of all, a block and a half from the subway, the N train.
Mm-hmm.
Had everything we could possibly need. 18 bars within 4 minutes. And then like Starbucks, Key Foods, the world's best grocery store. I actually just found a Key Foods bag and I was all like, oh my God. And had everything.
And then, like you said, the apartment tried to kill you. This is pre me moving in. It was.
Was that pre you moving in?
Well, when I moved in, there was still.
Oh yeah, because you had come down a lot.
Yeah.
But then, okay, right.
Bed bugs almost killed you.
And Jen,
Yeah.
bedbugs literally tried to kill us. That is one of the worst things I've ever been through by far.
Yeah.
And if you're like, that sounds over dramatic, it was the worst.
They can actually drive you crazy.
No,
Like,
people have gone insane because of bed bugs, and Jen and I were very close. Because you can't sleep. First of all, I'm super sensitive, so I was like covered in bites that were so itchy.
Mm-hmm.
Jen talks about this one time, covered in bites, like covered. Like picture mosquito bites, but you're already like allergic to them.
Right.
Covered in bites. I get into the shower, and I'm just screaming because I was so itchy, and like we couldn't sleep. And we became like psychos.
Yeah, and they fuck with you because, again, for those who don't know or have experienced bed bugs, they're so tiny that you can see them, but barely, but you can feel them. So it's at night, and you can kind of feel them on you.
Yeah.
And then they bite you. I luckily never react to them, so whether or not they bit me, I wouldn't even know.
Right, like and even looch. Men aren't. First of all, the hairy legs, hairy arms,
Right.
different thing. As you can imagine, I'm completely nude. No, and but like just certain types, and especially women, like are like we were both so covered in bites, like.
And it was like no other place because. Okay, so when I moved in, they were the big sort of wave of bed bugs was gone.
Yeah.
But we would still get bites every so often, and I remember we had the exterminator come. He was coming like once a week, and he couldn't even believe it. He was like, literally, I go to places 3 times, and by the 3rd time, it's just an extra sort of, like they're usually gone by the 2nd time, and the 3rd time, it's just like an extra like assurance sort of thing.
But it was because the people downstairs didn't deal with it at all. So we
Right.
like threw things away, cleaned everything, washed everything repeatedly.
Mm-hmm.
And then they didn't do anything downstairs, so they were still there downstairs.
Right. They just make their way up.
I never bounced back.
Nightmare. Yeah, like I said, never got bites, but I could feel them at night, and it fucks with you. So yeah, let's describe the place. It was a giant 3-bedroom apartment.
Yep.
And we had the sweetest deck, like even though it got scalding hot in the summer because it was like roofing, basically. The deck
Yeah, it was
like,
just roofing. And remember there was that weed that grew so strong?
the garbage weed.
Garbage tree.
The garbage tree, right? There was a little pile of like
actual garbage.
Actual
like
garbage.
Cigarette butts.
Yeah.
Mud.
Yeah.
Like just disgusting.
It was a little like where the drain was on the patio. It just like so everything that drained from the patio collected in there, like you said, cigarette butt, whatever, anything, and garbage juice. So it was always kind of wet. And there was this brown weed, strong weed that grew this tree up to like 3 feet.
But it was so strong and healthy, growing out of nothing, out of garbage and poison.
The garbage tree. That was a fun apartment.
It
Good
was.
times. We had. And this is one thing you get used to too in New York. You just get used to cockroaches.
Yeah.
Remember, this was my strategy. Every time I would open the cutlery drawer, and I'm such a pussy when it comes to bugs. I cannot deal. Like, I've killed like big animals, bugs, no problem.
He's a serial killer. I kill
like
humans for
hunting and
sport, but like a cockroach.
Freak me the fuck out. So this is my strategy. I would open the cutlery drawer and walk
slam
away.
it
Not even. I just open it and walk away because they scurry when they see light or whatever. So I'd open it, do a quick lap around the kitchen, and come back to it. But so many times you'd open the cutlery drawer and you'd see like 2-3 cockroaches just sort of scatter. And yeah.
You know what? After the bed bugs, like nothing grosses me out.
Yeah, well, I know you guys weren't really that fazed by the cockroaches.
Because it was something we had trapped. Like, it was just an ongoing... New York is a city of just, like, battle.
Yeah.
All the time.
Just full
just
struggle.
Fucking battle. Like, everything's trying to kill you. You're trying to kill it.
I would actually... this was my strategy when I saw... if I saw, like, a dead cockroach or someone... a half-dead cockroach or half alive, if you're going to be positive, I would see it. I would leave it there until one of you guys would find it. By then, I would be mentally prepared to like dispose of it. So like I'd ignore it. If I saw it like on the windowsill, like ignore it and just like okay. And then like 10 minutes later, I'd hear you or Jen like, oh God, and then I got this.
Yeah,
So I was
just like
mentally psyched
I
out.
remember one time I saw a cockroach that was like literally like the size of my thumb, just on the stairs. You know, the stairs going up.
Yeah, it was dead there.
Yes,
It was upside down, like on one of the top.
Oh my
stairs,
God, you
right?
remember that?
Yeah. Of course, everyone marks me. It was like on the first or second stair from the top.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I know. We know the same dead cockroaches.
One
It's sort
time-
of like having friends in common. Like, oh, remember the dead cockroach on the second stair? That was massive.
It was huge.
It was so huge.
One morning we woke up, Jen and I, and there was one. I had an iPod Nano and I put it next to it, took a picture. It was like 2 inch. It was upside down. And I couldn't believe how giant this thing was. So fucking
But
gross.
again, cockroaches, not a fan, don't get me wrong, but they don't feed off your blood and
That's
try and
right.
ruin your life.
Yeah, they're just gross.
They're just gross. But they're at least, I don't know, they seem cleaner
Mhm.
than, say, a rat. We
Yeah.
never had mice or rats, which is
Never.
good.
Yeah.
I know, it sounds like we're animals.
Right. Yeah, it does sound like we lived in a dive, but it was actually a nice place.
It's
So
just
that just
New
comes
York.
with, that's
Yeah,
just
it's
New
just
York.
gross.
Yeah.
There's too many humans.
Unless it's a brand new building.
Even then, I'm sure something gross is going on in there.
Oh, 100%. And so we lived on 31st and Ditmars in
Yep.
Astoria.
Yep.
And our neighborhood was great. We had No Partners.
Yes.
McCann's.
Yes.
Which we always went to.
Mojave.
Classic. Sangritas.
Sangritas.
Which is red sangria with frozen margarita mix. So, well, for me, you're in the bag. That's when I was dubbed the East Coast lightweight.
Yes, because Julian would come out. And then, like, the New York pours are insane. And then it's just nonstop.
Well, for example, No Partners, this dive bar we went to, they do buybacks, which a lot of boroughs do, borough bars.
Yep.
Borough drinking, as you say. Your fourth one is on the house, where they put an upside down shot glass when you're in the middle of your third drink, and then the next one's on the house. But they free pour. They're like, when you get a vodka soda, which we were all drinking vodka sodas, everyone. That was just the go-to.
Yeah.
It's like a triple.
Yeah. Every drink is a triple, for sure.
And I could never get my buyback. I'd always be so hammered. Let's talk about No Partners a little bit. Let's introduce that chapter of our lives to the world. No Partners. Picture a really narrow dive bar with a sort of a jukebox.
Yeah.
The bar is sort of the whole length of the place, except for the back, there's a pool table. And then there's a weird gaming room, like a...
Yeah, but you were never really allowed in that room. Like, it was all weird.
Yeah, there was like a shady...
There was like a shady machine in that room.
Yeah.
That I think was for gambling. Like, it was all bizarre. And the bathroom had like kick holes in the door.
Yeah.
And often instead of actual hand soap, there'd just be like a thing of like Palmolive.
Yeah.
As your like hand soap.
With and the to wipe your hands was like paper towel on like a wire that was like nailed to and you just like get it off of that. But we did a lot of drinking in there.
Yeah.
So many characters. There's Cousin Frankie.
Yeah.
Big Paul.
Yeah.
Laura.
Yes.
Of course. Joni the Jokester.
Yes.
Who I actually never met Joni.
Oh my God, that was Jen and I were obsessed.
Was she the nipple puller?
Yes.
Okay, tell
It's too weird to. Has Jen ever talked about it? Jen would almost. You'll have to do another podcast where Jen and I. Maybe you should just do a whole podcast called No Partners.
Actually, that would be a good idea.
Oh my God, it would be the most powerful podcast ever.
Actually, why don't we take a short break?
Oh, okay.
Get a drink.
Maybe you should get a drink.
Maybe.
Oh.
And let's get Jen in here because I do want to talk about it. I think it's so funny.
Okay.
I think it'd be. And then after that, we'll talk a little bit more and get into it.
All right.
We'll be right back with Kristeen von Hagen. Break. This episode. Hey, it's break time. That's right. Breaky. Hey, break. This episode of the Julian Dion Comedy Hour podcast, episode 16 with Kristeen von Hagen, is brought to you once again by Echo One Photography. Toronto listeners, I'm talking to you. Breath. If you're in the Toronto area and you're looking to get some headshots done for whatever reason, you're a comedian, you're an actor, you're a musician, you're a business guy, woman, whoever, go to Echo One Photography. They'll give you some great headshots. Also, if you own a business and you're looking to get some product photography for e-commerce or advertising purposes, look no further. Echo One Photography does that too. Yeah. Hell yeah. Contact Eugene. Email today. Email Eugene, that's EUGENE at echo1photography.com and enter JDCH in the subject line for special offers. Do it today. All right, and we're back with Kristeen von Hagen. And Jen Grant sits in. Hello, Jen.
Hello there.
Oh, intimate.
I know. If you could see how close they are, you'd think they were a couple or something.
Sharing the same mic. We're going to get into the no partners thing before, or in a sec, but before, touch on the bed bugs, because we talked about it a little bit, and describe the...
Too soon.
Kristeen was talking about when she'd be in the shower and you could hear her.
Remember the time I was like covered in bites and I was so itchy?
Oh, yeah.
And then I just started screaming in the shower. But they made us crazy. Like we were so itchy and so fucked up.
Yeah, and you had it the worst. And I remember we kept track of how many bites we had because we wanted to see if the poison was working. So we'd have a piece of paper on our fridge that said... and I think it was mostly you because you had so many.
Oh.
Like you had 8 on your face, 8 bed bugs bites on her face. And then it would be I remember 8 on the face. It was huge because it's bad when it's on your face.
Oh, and all of our arms.
Yeah.
Oh, and the legs. And they were so itchy.
It makes me itchy right now.
I know. Even just talking about it makes me squirm. It's one of the worst things that's ever happened to us.
Absolutely.
People are like, how can it be bad? It's the worst.
The worst. Remember when we slept in the living room one night?
And you slept on the chair with the ottoman and I slept on the couch. We became insane people.
We were drinking a lot.
That really hasn't changed for me. But we changed. We drank a lot.
Any human would.
We had to.
Given those circumstances.
We were trying to kill the bed bugs with vodka.
Yeah.
Like that, they're going to bite us and die of alcohol poisoning.
And they loved you so much because it was like a Bloody Mary.
Okay, now we talked about no partners. We're going through the list of the characters that were there. And Cousin Frankie and so on. Joni the Jokester came up. Describe her.
Jen does the best Joni the Jokester impression ever.
Okay, well, so we were known as Canada.
Yeah, individually or together, we're just Canada. So we'd walk in and be like, Canada's here.
Yeah, and then remember Laura. Laura was great.
Laura's
Did you talk about Laura yet?
No.
Okay.
I was like, get Jen in here.
Okay. So Laura was from Long Island, and she talked like that, and she had her long fingernails. And one time, Kristeen was like, Laura, your arms are so toned. How do you have them, they're so lean and toned? And she goes, I don't know. I just blow dry my hair. We're like, yeah, everybody does.
Yeah.
Why do
you have pipes?
How heavy is your hair dryer? Yeah, pipes.
She had good arms.
She did. So anyways, one day we were in there one night and we saw this character. It was like watching a movie.
Yeah.
You didn't even feel like I'd never seen anything like it. So we're sitting there at the bar, and there's this a woman drinking a Coors Light, and she's really wasted, and she's talking about how sex with her husband is really boring now because it's so predictable, but she was wasted, so she was saying way too much.
Way too much.
And so she's like, when you're with someone for a long time and you just know they're going to fucking come. And then she does this whole act out
3,
2, 1. But as she's doing the 3, 2, 1, to reach the orgasm, she's actually pulling on her nipples, and I don't think she had a bra on.
And it was like really like
aggressive.
Yeah.
Like milking her own nipples.
Yes, milking her own teets. But like 3, 2, 1. Like it was like. It was one of the most disturbing things we've ever seen.
But we're really love watching it, like even though it's disturbing. And the reason I brought up Laura was because Laura said, "Oh, Joni, did you know, Joni? This is Joni the Jokester." And I was like, "Oh, cool, nice."
Because everyone has a weird nickname.
Yeah,
that was the big thing.
And then so I don't know if we brought it up or Laura brought it up, but somebody said, or we
Laura
said,
brought it up
Laura,
for sure.
okay.
We were like trying to just maintain.
Keep it on the down low. So like Laura's like, "Oh, you know what, Joni, you're really funny. These are actual stand-up comics." And then she clammed up.
Yeah,
remember?
she shut down, and we were like, "No, you got a lot of magic, sister."
She didn't do the 3, 2, 1 anymore.
It was really, you can't really reenact it. It was just the most disturbing thing.
And
it's like bed bugs and then Joni the Jokester.
I wanted to segue into this. I'm gonna try to do it like talk show style, like it's coming up naturally. Have either of you ever seen anyone or witnessed anyone eat money in your lives?
Funny you should ask. Yes. Because also, I think, was it Friday nights, whoever would order, like, my cousin Frankie, one of the bartenders, would order, like, these pizzas from Brooklyn that were apparently epic, but always were kind of gross, really. Yeah. And then you could just grab a slice, and it was just sort of the Friday night tradition. And then, so one guy whose name eludes me, but he was always there, and he, like, because it was all TVs above the bar, so everyone's like, you know, it's New York, it's sports crazy, right? It's like Jets, Giants, Mets, Yankees, you name it. So everyone's watching. And then all of a sudden we hear cousin Frankie scream, "Stop it, spit that out, spit it out. So of course we're like, what's going on? And the super drunk guy had just picked up a $1 bill, that was his change, and started eating it because he thought it was the pizza. And so he spits out this half-eaten $1 bill. And you know how grubby American singles are, just like, and then Frankie's like, "That was my tip!" Like, he's all mad.
Like, how fucked up do you have to be
to eat like half a $1 bill? Like, not even like put it in your mouth and go, "Oh God!" Like eating it.
Like you said, that pizza wasn't good, but it's not that bad.
It's
that
not
you would
grubby American $1 bill.
Yeah.
Good, bad.
And we spent so much time there that we would go there, and especially you guys, it sort of became your own spot. Like you'd use the karaoke, you'd take over the not karaoke, but the jukebox.
Oh yeah.
You'd accept phone calls.
There was this super shady payphone that people would just get calls on. So of course we're like, we want to get calls. And then Christina, our friend, like came and we all hung out. Like we hung out there so much.
It's true.
And brought like everyone we knew to this shady bar.
It was really fun.
It was a lot of laughs. And then so Christina got the number and then would phone the payphone, and we'd like take calls on the payphone just to try and fit in.
I remember my first time there. I was convinced cousin Frankie poisoned me because I'd never been so hungover. Because you just kind of sit there and you get lost in this world of TVs and any music you want to play. We'd play our own music. So imagine having a bar that you get to decide what plays.
And we'd like sometimes play like Anne Murray. Like we play like things like AC/DC, like classics. And then we slip in like Snowbird or something and just kind of play it cool.
Cousin Frankie would get mad at me sometimes for my selection of music. Like I'd play Pearl Jam or My Morning Jacket and be like, what the fuck is this?
We knew what would play, and then we played like Tragically Hip all the time. Like we'd get like our CanCon in, just like we played Summer of '69 all the time.
Yeah, and I had that one song that I always played, Alanis Morissette song.
Yes.
What a nerd I am. And we weren't used to the strong drinks at all. Like I obviously would rather have more booze and add mix, so we would ask for. So basically it would come in like would you say a 6-ounce glass?
Yeah,
maybe?
like a little glass.
Yeah, and it would be 3/4 full of ice, 3/4 vodka, and a splash of club soda.
Which is like, even for seasoned drinkers like ourselves, was like gross. So we were like, we want the same amount of vodka, just in like more soda.
Yeah.
And that was like a whole confusing thing.
That was
like,
controversial.
Yeah, and then the owner was like, no more tall glasses. And it was like, we don't want any more vodka. We just want more soda.
Yeah.
And it just never really translated.
Because even if you start off with that 6-ounce glass, which has 3/4 of vodka, and you have a side of soda that you keep adding to it, you still have to take those first few drinks that are like pure vodka.
And then they had to pour it like in the glass, but it would still be the same amount of vodka. And then they'd put more soda in. It was like a whole, like, we were using up like 4 glasses each for no reason.
I know. And then I remember one time we went in there and I said, we asked for our special thing.
Yeah.
And the girl said, oh, yeah, I heard about you guys. And we're not allowed to do that anymore. It's like, it's just extra club soda.
Yeah, it was the strangest. It was a very strange place.
Yeah, you'd get a glass and then a side Stella glass with soda.
And then we'd have to like mix it in. Even though we're like, just put the exact amount of vodka in, you'd put in the other glass. And then just put it in the bigger glass.
Yeah.
It was so much fun because it was such a like TSN turning point place. By that I mean like we'd have an early night in, or we'd go to the city. One of us would do a spot somewhere. Then on our way back, let's go for one. That was always the line.
That was always the line. We'll go for one.
Should we go for one? We'd debate at the gate, at our gate.
Yeah.
Like, do we go upstairs or do we go for one? Let's go for one. And then cut to 3 hours later, we're stumbling home.
Just like, and it was like half a block from our house. Like it was so disturbingly close.
We were scared the first time to go in, remember?
Yeah.
It was scary.
It is still scary.
Yeah. I mean, and then, like, it's a scary place, and what do? Go in and get completely wasted. Like, so we can't defend ourselves. We might as well.
But, like, Laura was there,
Yeah.
and Laura was, like, an
She's
angel on earth. Like, so entertaining, so nice.
Yeah,
like, it wasn't.
so nice.
And then, And then we had our weird friends there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to think of anything else. There was one more thing I was going to say about no partners. The buyback.
Oh, yeah. Julian touched on it.
Oh, did you? Yeah, you
But
could never get the buyback. I was like, I got to go after 3.
But the first time we got it, we thought we had to do a shot. We were, like, super freaked out.
And remember, we got weed from there one time?
Yes.
It was such an operation. I won't name names, but we were looking for some weed, and we found out the bartender could hook us up. So I remember it was like, you go in, because in Canada, we're just, you grab it off someone, you meet them on the street, just do the exchange, like no big deal, whatever. And I remember we lined it up. So I show up. I have to sit at the bar. He pours me a soda, gives me the soda. I have to put the money under a coaster. Oh, no. I shake the bartender's hand, give him the handoff, the money. He puts it under a coaster, and he goes to the back room. He disappears. Another guy comes, swipes the coaster off, like with his hand, puts it on top, grabs the money. He just pockets the money or whatever. And then 3 minutes later, guy comes out the back, walks behind me. I'm sitting at the bar, walks behind me, puts his hand on my shoulder. I put my hand on top of his. He slides his out, and there's a little like dime bag of weed in it.
But it's like the dustiest, smallest bag. Like, so it's like
a dime bag, $50.
Yeah. It was,
and then he's so committed, he just walks out and he's gone.
Yeah.
He was working 1 minute, next minute he's just like
out the door
and gone. Good old no partners.
But McCann's was our other go-to. Mm-hmm. We loved it there, too. We would go to the gym, which the gym was a whole scene. Yeah. Everything's a scene. Key Foods was a scene. Gym was the liquor store was a scene. Everything was hilarious. And we'd go to the gym, and then we'd go to McCann's, and we'd have nachos and wings. Good. And it was perfect because I like really cheesy nachos.
Yeah.
And Jen preferred not so much cheese. And she likes the flapper part of the wing, and I like the drumstick. So we pretty much had like a perfect couple situation. And then again, we'd just get into our vodka sodas.
And cheap, remember?
Oh my God. And then we'd drink and eat like so much cheese, so full, boozed up. And it would be like $20 for the bill. And we're
remember
like,
sangritas?
Oh, yes.
Oh, did you already talk about that? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the sangritas at Mojave.
Yeah.
That was so the best.
I remember complaining about the arugula because I wanted fresher arugula. Like I was at Key Foods, the grocery store, and the expiry date said a day before that day. So I was like, I was just wondering if you have any fresher arugula. And somebody went to the back, came back with one more person. And the next person goes, what's the problem? What's wrong?
The managers were like, what's wrong?
What's wrong? Like it was this major thing. I'm like, I just want to know if you have like arugula that's not expired. He's like, just 1 minute. They come back three people this time. What's the problem? What's wrong? Your arugula's expired, but don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Like, this
it's
is
like
turned
it's
into
gone
this
too
thing.
far.
Yeah.
How about the announcements at Key Foods?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. It'd be like, yeah, what?
Because in any sort of grocery store, it's like really official, but there it's like Maria, come to the front.
Maria, you're in the wrong aisle. Maria. It would like scare you.
It'd be like, yeah, like Jim, your shirt's on backwards.
Yeah.
Why is this being announced?
Totally.
Oh, fuck.
Good old New York days.
So good. Key Foods. Shit.
Okay, do you want to do this thing? Do you want to do the segment? We do a segment. Maybe you want to do it.
No.
All right, let's...
Called Crazy or Key Foods.
Okay, let's go over the segment. Do you want to tell her what it is?
Sure.
And then you can decide if you want to do...
Oh, my God. Pressure's on.
Okay.
No.
We're going to take a 10-second break. We're going to explain the segment and be right back after this short break. 10 a second break. 10 second 10 second break. Hey, if you own a business or anything really that you want to promote or advertise on the podcast, here's where it would go. Just here, imagine now, this is a blank canvas. Imagine your product or service being advertised to the millions of people listening. Well, this is where it would be. So if you do want to advertise, please email pod@jdcomedyhour.com. 10 second break. Over. All right, and we are back, and we're in a bit of a time crunch, so we're going to forego the segment. Jen's off. She's gone. She's no longer.
Yeah, she's just like, if you're not going to do this segment, I'm fucking out of here.
I'm out of here. She left in a huff.
Yeah, super bad.
So, okay, we're going to go for the close here in a minute, but first, let's talk about an event that marked us both deeply in our lives, the Great Poisoning of 2013.
Yeah, the Great Poisoning. So, as we drink and we don't drink, as adults do, I had stopped drinking, and when I stop drinking, I get very, very crabby. Super crabby.
This is Kristeen. She does a thing called clock roboting that Jen has dubbed, where she'll get really disciplined for a few weeks of like not drinking and everything's timed perfectly.
Yeah,
and she
eating certain meals, going to the gym, like
everything's timed right down to the minute.
Jen will be like, "Oh, let's go have something to eat," and I'll be like, "Not till 1 o'clock."
Yeah, you can't throw any activity in there; it'll throw it off.
Yeah.
So there's nothing you got. So she's a clock robot. It's right down to the minute. And it works for her. So, party.
Oh my God, something insane is happening next door.
And so she was on one of these clock robot stints. She being you. I'm talking to the people. Kristeen was not drinking, and she was, as she says, crabby.
And it's a nice summer day. We're at one of our locals, the Pour House in Toronto.
Yeah.
We're up on the upper patio.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful day.
Everyone's ordering a beer or a cider, something reasonable, a vodka soda tall.
Everyone has a drink. And then Kristeen orders a soda. So I, under my breath, tell the waitress, put some vodka in there. And she's like, oh, really? Really? Are you sure? Because that's a pretty serious thing. Someone orders a non-alcoholic drink and then someone else goes, put vodka in it. So she's like, are you sure? Like, yes, trust me, just put vodka in her drink. I thought you'd taste it right away.
Right.
And it'd
so
be like
I
a big
just
joke. Like,
drink this vodka soda, which I just think is like a club soda. Down that, boom. And then it was like...
Waitress comes around
again. And then Julian whispers, make it a double. And I don't know anything. So the second drink comes.
I'm like, this one will tip her off. Like, she'll taste it. It'll be a big joke, big reveal. Like, oh, this tastes like vodka. Yeah, I did it.
Nothing. But then now in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I'm actually having fun now.
Cracking jokes.
Loving life. And I'm like, I actually thought maybe I don't need alcohol to have fun. Like, I was like, oh, this is like a nice day. I'm enjoying this company. Next drink comes around.
Another double.
Still nothing. And now I'm like, I can have fun without alcohol. I'm enjoying my friends.
And to see the arc of your mood was amazing. It was like, it started off, you were so quiet and just like, meh, whatever, you were there. And then like midway through the second drink, like you were cracking jokes. You're the life of the party now. You're like.
So after we finish that, and I leave about like a quarter of the drink left there. And then Julian's like, you should really finish your drink. And I'm like, it's like club soda. Like I paid once and you have your weird refills. He's like, well, you should just finish it. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. So I like finish it. But then I was like, that's weird. But I didn't like spark anything that dramatic in my head. Then we're like halfway out. And then he just turns to me and was like, I have to tell you something. And I was like, what? And he's like, you've been drinking double vodka sodas. And I was all like, oh my fucking God. And then I just like lashed out like a drunk. I was like, I feel bad for you.
That was the best part. I feel bad for you guys. She's like, I'm fine with it. It's you that I feel bad for. You can't even be. What was your lot? I can't even.
It was something about you can't even entertain me if I'm so. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, it was so funny. Anyway, since then she's vowed to poison me.
Yeah, I don't know how, and I don't know when.
Still hasn't happened. It's been 10 months since I've had a drink. So it'll be dramatic when you do poison.
Oh yeah, no. I thought tonight was the night.
I'm gonna come to Vegas in when pool season starts in March.
Yeah, like March, April.
Yeah, so I'm gonna come then. So maybe you can poison me.
Oh my God, you're not gonna get out of Vegas without drinking. That's just not even gonna happen. I won't even poison you. The city will poison you.
Right. I don't think. I wonder how many times a year Vegas is done sober.
Oof. People have done it. My friend Erica did it. She
Yeah?
doesn't drink, and her mom doesn't drink, and then they went to Vegas, and I was just like, why would you guys go there?
Yeah.
But some people are serious about their non-drinking, and that happens.
Mine is just a cleanse.
Yours, yeah. See, the thing is, if you were like, I ruined my life and like punched my sister, I'd be like, yeah, okay. Maybe you shouldn't drink. But you are a good drunk, a cheap drunk. East Coast lightweight.
Yeah.
But still a fun drunk and a good drunk, so you have no reason not to drink.
Yeah, that's true. So you're in Vegas now.
Yes.
And just doing the thing there, doing some shows. Because now you're a full-fledged citizen of the United States.
Yes, I'm now a dual citizen. I have both, everything.
Which is a huge
huge
so I
can put on my American hat. I can put on my Canadian hat. It was funny. I had my American friend Tracy over. She's just my friend, but she's also American. And we speak American to each other. And then I had a call about a job. And then so I had this whole call and was talking away. But like also like someone I know, so I'm like gossiping and just chatting away. And then later that day, there was another Canadian in town, and then she said something, and then she just turned to me like super dramatic and was like, I don't know who you were talking to earlier, but you sounded so Canadian. And I was like, how fucking dare you? And she's like, it was insane. It was like you turned it on. And I was like, oh my God, that's the worst thing you could possibly say to me.
And so down there, what's the big plan? You're just going to, I guess, you're just working all the time.
Yeah, well, I mean, we love Vegas, and we have an awesome apartment. And right now, my husband's working in Santa Barbara, and then I'm still traveling. The thing was, like, especially living in New York, you're paying so much rent, and then still to make money doing comedy, you're always traveling.
Right.
So now we have a sweet pad, lots of flights in and out of Vegas. And, it's a fun place. Like, I'm going back there tomorrow. It's cold and dark and rainy here.
Yeah.
It's going to snow next week for sure.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's 82 degrees in Vegas.
Yeah, and it's like you said, people don't often think of that because it's usually like a gambling, drinking destination. But for a comedian or anyone traveling, it's perfect. It's like you said, you can get a home for like very little, a really nice home, and you can travel from there, like cheap flights in and out, and
it's like 5-hour drive to LA, lots of flights everywhere all the time. We like being there, we're close to the strip, but we have a normal house with a kitchen. Because every time you go, it's like you're just always like, oh, we have to go out to eat and have to do this, but here it's like, oh, I can just go visit the insanity and then leave.
And we're sitting in your empty apartment now, and it's just sinking. It's just hitting me now that you're leaving because I've had you around, lived with you in New York for 2.5 years, and then we moved to Toronto, and the next month you moved, our neighbors in the same building. So we went from living together in the same apartment to neighbors, but literally your living room now, distance-wise to my bedroom, is probably closer than our place in New York.
It's true.
And so I'm gonna miss you.
I know.
This is gonna be.
But I'll
weird.
be back once the snow melts. I'll be back.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be weird. I know. Part of me is like, ooh, but it'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll see each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Just not on the daily, which hurts.
Yeah.
Because of your whole family. I know I hang out with your parents when I'm in Victoria.
Hang out with my brother. Hang out with my
Toronto.
parents.
Full family.
Full fam.
I might change my last name to Von Hagen
Why
or
not?
Von Dion.
Von Dion's a good name.
Just add the Von.
Always add the Von.
Small V.
Always small V.
Always small V. Is there anything you want to plug at K Von Hagen on Twitter?
Yeah, at K Von Hagen on Twitter. KristeenVonHagen.com. You'll never spell it right, so don't worry about that. And yeah, just at Twitter. That's where the magic happens.
That's where the magic happens.
Just me complaining about moving. That's the magic.
Is there anything else you want to add? Are you happy with everything? You're good?
Yeah, I'm super happy with everything. What else? Yeah, that's it.
Well, thanks for doing it. I
Thanks
just
for
gave you
having
double
me.
thumbs up.
I
I
know.
never do that. That was
It
weird.
was weird. It was like he was like politician Julian. Like this is what happens when you're sober. Like double thumbs up. That was neat.
Anyway, you are one of my favorite people in the world,
I love you,
and
Jules.
I love you very much. And thanks for doing the podcast. And
See you in Vegas in March.
See you in Vegas.
Poolside.
Oh, I cannot wait.
Oh my God.
Thanks
Get
for
down
doing
there. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
And there it is, episode 16 in the books. Locked down. That's right. Thanks to my guest, Kristeen von Hagen, KVH, Chrissy Diamonds. That was fun. Thanks to my producer, Adam Fox, and my sound engineer, Miles Lacroix. And thanks to you. Always, always you. Toronto listeners, come to Absolute Comedy tonight. That's Tuesday, November 11th. Remembrance Day, lest we forget. Go to facebook.com/JD Comedy Hour. Follow on Instagram and Twitter at JD Comedy Hour. What else? Email the show. Yeah, email me. That's right. P-O-D at jdcomedyhour.com. What else can I say? I think that's it. Tune in Friday. New episodes every Tuesday and Friday. And if you like the podcast, spread the word. Share it around if you could. Spread the love. Why not? I'm trying to think of a reason why not, and none come to mind. So, do it up. Share. Share the shit out of it. Watch your head.
The whole world wants a piece of my head, but they all get a piece of my mind instead. I'll roll over and go back to bed. It's such a beautiful waste of time. It's just a waste of time. A beautiful waste of
I can hear. Yeah, I can hear me. Is that?
Check it. 1, 2.
Whoa, check it. 1, 2. Oh, hello. There's a lot of checking it going on.
Okay.
I wonder if I should quickly pour a drink before this
Oh,
starts.
fuck yeah.
Jesus.
Make a stiff one. Make it stiff. Get loose.
I almost feel you should have a Vietnamese on air. All right. Eating it. Mike, that is.
Yeah, we'll just get into it. We'll talk about the early days a little bit, New York days.
I don't even know if I remember the early days.
The New York, the LA days.
Yep.
We'll just get deep.
Oh shit, we're going deep. Deep it.
Check. Okay, talk how you would talk normally.
All right, we're probably going to talk like this.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go deep. We're going to check it. We're going to talk about the poisoning, whether you want to or not.
The great poisoning.
The great poisoning.
Of 2012, maybe?
Probably 13.
13, yeah. I think
Early 2013.
Yeah.
Oh my God, all right. That's what we should start with. Everything else, comedy be damned.